Hi guys, and welcome to the Mongers channel, the channel that teaches you everything film related and provides you with the best short film. I'm your host FM, and today we're going to be looking at a very crucial part of the post-production process, color correction. We'll be using DaVinci Resolve, which can be downloaded for free. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So the first step we'll be covering is the image correction. As you can see on the screen, there are two graphs. One is the parade scope, the other is the waveform scope. Let's focus on the waveform scope. Firstly, why do we use scopes to color correct? Because different screens have different settings, so we color correct an image using scopes to ensure the blacks, as an example, actually show as black instead of grey on all screens. The waveform scope represents the image and is read from left to right. Throughout the scope, there are highs and lows from 1023 to 0. The darkest parts of the image should be as close to 0 as possible, and the brightest parts of an image should be closer to 1023. Adjusting the lift, gamma and gain in the color wheels menu controls the exposure of the image. The lift controls the darkest parts, which we refer to as shadow. The gain controls the highlights and the gamma controls the midtones. First, we'll change the name of the node so we know what adjustments we've made on that specific node. A node is basically a new layer. We'll slide the wheel to get the shadows as close to 0 as possible, while using the gain wheel to get the highlights as close to 1023 as possible. We'll use the gamma wheel to adjust the midtones according to how our image looks. As you can see, the image exposure has changed drastically, and our image has now been correctly exposed. As our footage was initially shot in a flat profile, we have added contrast and detail into the image. We'll add another node and this time change the name to temp, as we'll be adjusting the color temperature to achieve correct white balance. We'll slide the temperature wheel till the whites in our image are actually white. Again, using the waveform scope, we can see the different color channels merging and turning white. Our footage has been color corrected. Now we can move on to color grading. But just before we do so, let's look at a handy feature. We can add recurring shots in our timeline into a group, meaning that any color correction done will be applied to the other shots in the group. We'll command click the necessary shots and right click, then click add into a new group. We'll click OK and voila, a new group has been created. Anything we do to a clip, once group post clip is selected, will be affected. For this example, our shot isn't in a group, so we don't need to worry about that. Now to the color grading part. We'll start off by creating a new node, naming it contrast and heading over to the curves adjustment. We'll add 2 points and adjust the midtones until we get a contrast that we're happy with. Play around with the curves line to understand how it fully works. Next, we'll add another node and name it color. We'll be affecting the color of the overall image. We'll select our color wheels tab, making sure it's on the primary wheel setting, then we will drag the offset tool to our desired color. Next, we'll create a parallel node, which is a node which isn't affected by its parallel counterpart, but takes on the previous node's properties. We'll name this node skin, since we'll be restoring some of the color in the skin tone. We'll head over to the curves tool and select hue versus sat, which is a tool that allows you to saturate or desaturate a particular hue or color. We'll click the skin tone of our actor, which will drop a point on the curve. As we adjust this, we can bring color back into our actor's skin tone. This will also affect similar colors, so making a steeper curve can help to avoid this. Next, we'll add another node and this time use a loom versus sat curve, which we use to ensure the blacks and whites in the image are actually black or white, rather than the color which we push the image to be. Lastly, we'll add another node and this time name it sat, as we'll be desaturating the image. Head over to the color wheels menu and desaturate the image to your liking. Voila! Those are the basics to color correction and color grading. Hopefully we can look at more advanced techniques in the near future. Also, all techniques can be used differently, so always think about what the actual tools do. Play around with different tools to see what type of look you can achieve. But for now, that will be all. Once again guys, thank you for watching the episode. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you didn't understand anything, comment below. Become a filmmonger by subscribing, and we'll see you next time.